You know, one of the hardest lessons I ever had to learn in life, and I do mean ever, is that not everybody clappin' for you is happy for you. Sometimes the loudest folks around you are clappin' just loud enough to drown out your own instincts. And if you ain't careful, you'll mistake noise for support. See, that's why I'm standing here today telling you this one thing. And you better listen to me like your rent due tomorrow, and I'm holding the key. Don't tell everybody your story. See, the problem is not that we dream too big. Oh no, baby. The problem is that we tell our big dreams to small minds. People who can't see past their own limitations, they gon' always try to shrink your possibilities. They don't mean to be evil sometimes. Sometimes it's their own fear talking. But just because someone can't do it, doesn't mean you can't. Just because they tried and failed, don't mean you will. But you gotta protect your dream like it's a baby, because it is. It's in its infancy. You don't show off a newborn to everybody in the world right away. That child needs to grow first. It needs nourishment. It needs protection from the cold, from the germs. Dreams work the same way. I remember being broke. Not the kind of broke where you just low on cash. I mean the kind where you praying over your gas tank, hoping that if you just talk sweet to your car, it'll get you to work. The kind of broke where you sit in your car pretending to be on your phone just so people don't know you got nowhere to go. I was there, and even then I had the nerve, the audacity, the God-given faith to believe something bigger was common. I just didn't tell nobody, because I learned too early that the moment you start telling folks about the little flicker of light you see up ahead, they'll start pointing out all the reasons you won't make it. They'll say things like come on now, be realistic. And if you ain't grounded in who you are, you'll start to believe that mess. But let me tell you something, realistic ain't got nothing to do with faith. Realistic is based on what is, not what could be. Faith is stepping out on nothing, expecting everything. So when people ask me why I don't share everything I'm working on, I tell them, 'cause this ain't for everybody's ears. Let me explain something to y'all. Your story is sacred. It's your power, and you got to learn how to hold your power tight until it's time to let it speak for itself. Don't reveal what's still under construction. Nobody drives by a building site and says, "That's a beautiful skyscraper," while it's still steel beams and dust. They wait until the windows are shining, the lights are on, and the doors are open. That's when they admire it. So why you trying to get validation when you still laying the foundation? I see it all the time. Folks rushing to post every little step on social media, waiting on likes like they rent due in hearts and comments. But likes don't pay bills, comments don't fund dreams, your journey don't need to be public to be powerful. You ever notice the real moves get made in silence? Think about the biggest moments in your life. They didn't come with a warning. They showed up, sometimes out of nowhere. That's how life blesses you. Quietly, swiftly, and when it's right, everybody sees the result, not the recipe. You don't owe everybody an explanation. Matter of fact, some people don't even deserve access to your next chapter, especially if they were footnotes in your last one. And that's a hard truth. I've lost friends, family, even relationships because I refused to dim my light for comfort. I stopped explaining my grind to folks who ain't built to hustle. And guess what? I slept better, I walked taller, I loved harder, because when you stop oversharing, you start protecting your peace. Now don't get me wrong. I'm not saying be cold. I'm saying be selective. There's a difference. There's wisdom in knowing who to trust with your truth. Everyone who smiles with you don't stand with you. Some people just want front row seats to your failure so they can say, "I told you so." Let them wait. While you build, while you grow, while you grind in the dark so your success can shine in the light. And let me tell you something else. Your silence is not weakness, it's strategy. That's how winners move. Strategic, calculated, intentional. You ever see a lion announcing his hunt? No, he creeps in silence, he observes, he stalks. then bam, he attacks. That's how you need to move. Let the world feel your roar, not hear your whispers. Now listen to me, I know some of y'all are sitting there saying, but I just wanna be understood. I just want people to know what I'm going through. I hear you, I really do. But here's what I learned. If you looking for understanding in everybody else, you gon' stay disappointed. You gotta understand yourself first. Know why you're doing what you're doing. Know what's driving you. Know your why. 'Cause once you got that locked in, you don't need the world's approval. You won't crave validation, you'll walk with confirmation. People used to laugh at me. They laughed when I said I wanted to be on TV. They laughed when I said I wanted to own land. They laughed when I told them I was gonna make it out the hood. But guess what? I didn't fight them. I didn't argue. I didn't explain. I worked. I got up earlier. I prayed harder. I dreamed bigger. And when the time was right, I arrived. And them same people who laughed, they watching now. Quiet from a distance, because sometimes the best response to doubt is success. The best comeback is consistency. See, y'all don't need to scream your goals from the rooftops. You don't need to tweet your every move. You just need to keep moving quietly, consistently, boldly. Let your results speak in volumes your words never could. And when the world finally sees you, when they finally notice the shine, the grind, the success, let 'em wonder how you did it. Let 'em guess, because mystery is power and silence. That's your secret weapon. There's a story in the Bible where Joseph had a dream, a big dream, and he made the mistake of telling his brothers about it. Guess what happened? They hated him, threw him in a pit, sold him out, and if that ain't the realest thing I've ever heard, I don't know what is. Because sometimes the folks closest to you are the ones who can't handle your vision. They don't see what you see, they don't feel what you feel, and they'll try to kill your dream before it even breathes. So don't share everything. Learn to hold some things sacred. Let your dreams marinate in your soul until they're ready to feed the world. You ever had undercooked food? Nasty, right? That's what happens when you serve your story too early, it don't sit right. But when it's seasoned, when it's simmered, when it's ready, oh, now you got something folks can taste and never forget. I'm telling you this because I love you, because I believe in your potential. But you gotta stop throwing pearls before swine. Stop giving gold to people who only see glitter. You are precious. Your story is powerful. But only if you protect it. Some of y'all are in the middle of something right now. A grind, a battle, a transformation, and it's lonely, I know. But that's where the magic is, in the loneliness, in the silence. That's where your strength is being built. That's where your character is being forged. You ain't missing out on nothing by keeping quiet. Matter of fact, you winning. You don't need to announce when you're praying. You don't need to post when you're planning. You don't need to brag when you're building. Just do the work. Let your future self thank you for your present discipline. Let your results introduce you to rooms your mouth never could. And if you ever feel like giving up, if you ever feel like maybe this dream just ain't gonna work, remember what I said. Don't tell everyone your story, not because it's not good enough, but because it's still unfolding. And it's gonna be one for the ages. You gon' look back on this one day and smile, because you'll remember the nights you cried quietly, the mornings you rose early, the days you said nothing, but worked like everything depended on you, and it did. You'll remember how you kept your head down while everybody else was yelling, and then one day you'll lift your head and see the view, the real view, and it'll all make sense. So keep pushing, keep praying, keep moving in silence, and remember, baby, real kings and queens don't need to shout. Their presence says it all, and when it's all said and done, your story gon' be so powerful, so unshakable, so divine the world won't need you to tell it. It'll speak for itself. Elevation requires insulation. Your next level demands privacy. This truth doesn't just apply to personal development. It's a universal principle. quietly followed by the most successful leaders, visionaries, creators, and even nations. There comes a moment when growth is no longer just about potential, it's about precision. It's about choosing not only what you want, but what you're willing to protect in order to get there. And just like a spacecraft must seal itself from the pressure and chaos of the outside atmosphere during launch, your rise, your elevation, requires layers, boundaries, silence, protection, solitude. Because everything that grows fast and loud often collapses with equal force, but the things that last, they're built in silence. Every new level you reach in life demands a different kind of you, a sharper you, a more focused you, and with that comes the price of distance, not because you're better than anybody, but because where you're going, not everybody is equipped to travel. Insulation is not about arrogance. It's about alignment. It's the maturity to understand that if you expose your process too soon, you invite doubt, interference, and confusion. The most brilliant transformations don't happen under the spotlight. They happen in the shadows quietly, relentlessly, unapologetically. Think about the way a butterfly transforms. There's no broadcast, no announcement, just a cocoon, still and quiet, protecting the violent process of metamorphosis. The caterpillar doesn't call a press conference to explain why it's no longer crawling. It simply disappears, and when it returns, it flies. That's elevation, and that's insulation. In today's world, everyone is trying to showcase the journey while they're still on the road. Social media turned dreams into displays. Every step, every thought, every whisper of a goal gets broadcast before it's even real. But elevation doesn't work like that. Growth doesn't like noise. Privacy isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. When you're building something real, something life-changing, something generational, you can't afford to explain every move. The people who truly elevate understand the value of mystery, because power grows in silence. Even in nature, the deepest roots grow underground. They are hidden out of sight, but they are the reason the tree survives the storms. They are not glamorous, but they are essential. Your discipline, your grind, your late nights, your sacrifices, those are your roots. And if you expose them too early, if you let the wrong people see them, they'll start tugging at them, questioning them, weakening them. That's why insulation matters. There's another reason you need insulation. Because every next level comes with new enemies. Elevation is magnetic, it draws both admiration and envy. When people see you rising, they're either inspired or intimidated. Some will cheer you on, others will try to pull you back, and the more visible you become, the more vulnerable you are. Not because you're weak, but because too many opinions can paralyze your momentum. You need to keep your mind clear, your energy sacred, your goals hidden until they're undeniable. The most revolutionary ideas in history weren't created in conference calls. They were birthed in basements, dorm rooms, isolated labs, locked offices, secret bunkers. Whether it was a tech breakthrough, a political uprising, or a cultural revolution, privacy was always the breeding ground. You think of any global shift, it started in silence, with a small group or even one person, obsessively focused, unconcerned with applause, and insulated from outside noise. Insulation creates pressure, and pressure builds diamonds. Without insulation, pressure leaks. You get distractions, doubt, drama, and nothing kills elevation faster than divided focus. You can't fly if you're always looking over your shoulder. You can't build if you're constantly explaining your blueprints. You can't reach the next level if you're dragging everyone's opinions with you. Privacy isn't running, it's refining. Elevation also requires emotional insulation. You have to stop needing people to understand your hunger. You have to stop expecting support from people who never left the ground. Not everybody's meant to clap. Not everybody will see what you see. And that's okay. That's not your burden. Your job is to build, to trust yourself, to stay locked in. Your next level will not be voted on by the crowd. It's decided by your consistency, your character, your capacity to stay hidden long enough to sharpen your edge. Insulation isn't isolation. That's a mistake people make. It doesn't mean being alone forever. It means being wise about who you allow in while you're growing. You need people who don't need updates. People who understand that silence doesn't mean slacking, that when you disappear, it's because you're focused, not failing. Those are rare people. You don't need a crowd, you need a circle. A small, loyal, grounded circle that can withstand the heat of your elevation without getting insecure. In fact, the higher you go, the fewer people you'll need. Elevation naturally thins out your surroundings. The air gets thinner, the path gets narrower. Not everybody is built for that altitude. Some people will fall off. Some you'll have to leave behind. It's not cruelty, it's clarity. Because if you don't insulate properly, you'll carry weight that wasn't meant for your destiny. You'll exhaust yourself trying to bring people who were only meant for your past into your future. Think about an athlete training for the Olympics. You think they telling everybody their plan. You think they running around updating people on every diet, every workout, every weakness they're overcoming? No, they're locked in, focused, surrounded by only those who sharpen them. That's insulation, and that's why they win. Now take that same principle and look at how nations move. When a country wants to reshape its global influence, when it wants to reclaim something, defend its sovereignty, or assert its strength, it doesn't do so by telling the world its playbook. It operates behind the curtain. It develops new doctrines. It creates innovative strategies. It prepares for every scenario quietly. And then, when the moment comes, it acts with precision, no hesitation, no over-explanation, just decisive power. That's how real elevation happens. India, for example, in recent years has shifted from a position of defensive posture to assertive strategy, not by broadcasting every intention, but by insulating its capabilities. Whether in space, defense, or diplomacy, its doctrine evolved in silence. Investments in innovation, policy, and readiness were made without the constant need for applause. The results, visible, powerful, respected, and the process, guarded. That's how powerful elevation moves. You must understand when you are stepping into a realm that no one in your family has entered, when you are carrying the weight of breaking generational cycles, creating new standards, redefining your name, your legacy you must insulate. Because the resistance isn't just outside you, it's in your bloodline, your habits, your environment. And to elevate beyond that, you have to become undistracted. You can't be explaining healing while still bleeding. You can't be justifying dreams while they're still fragile. You have to disappear long enough to become undeniable. That's the power of insulation. It's not just about cutting noise. It's about building internal fire. It's where your clarity grows. It's where you start to hear your own voice again. When you strip away opinions, timelines, comparisons, you reconnect with your true purpose. You begin to move, not from pressure, but from purpose. And that shift, that's where real elevation begins. So many people sabotage themselves because they refuse to unplug. They need the validation, they need the attention, but attention is a drug. And like all drugs, it makes you feel good while quietly destroying you. Elevation requires discipline, privacy, the courage to let go of being seen so you can focus on being significant. And here's the thing, when you finally do emerge, when the work is done, when the results are real, you won't need to explain a thing. Success explains itself. Mastery speaks without words. People will feel it in how you carry yourself, in your tone, in your timing, in your energy, and they'll know you've been somewhere, you've done something. You're not who you used to be. The best part, you won't even need revenge. You won't need to clap back. You won't need to say, "I told you so." Because your presence will prove everything. Your glow will be louder than your grind. And those who doubted you, they'll either respect you or remove themselves. Either way, you win. But only if you honor the silence, only if you insulate during the storm, only if you understand that the next level is sacred ground and not everybody can come with you.